built it into the Auto Cloud also. So that idea that every customer can have this next generation experience and to connect with their customer in a whole new way and use agents in these incredible ways that today, this last mile to get to our customers is just too hard. And we can do it in this Agentforce platform. So with that, let me introduce you to Leah McGowan-Hare, who's going to give you an incredible demo. Leah.
Yay!
I am so excited to share with you all how Saks uses Agentforce to scale their employees across all their Salesforce apps. Now, Rusha, myself, and Maximo have 5 use cases we're going to walk you through. So we're going to look at the merchandising team, marketing team, as well as in-store advisors. But first, let's start with Slack. So here we are in the merchandising channel, and the buyer is sharing all the items they want to reorder for the upcoming season. But what I want to bring your attention to is the upper right-hand corner. There's 25 people in there collaborating. Those are 25 humans. Right next to it, you see 3. There's 3 agents in there as well collaborating. Well, let's see what that actually looks like. In here, we can see that Robbie is in there typing. Well, Robbie is actually not human. It's the Saks merchandising agent powered by Agentforce. And here its profile, and here are all the things that it can do. It has skills, it has jobs, and the knowledge that powers Robbie. Well, this is great. And you can see in there, they're collaborating. You got folks in there asking questions. Robbie's answering the questions just like any other teammate. Now, here's the thing. Robbie doesn't just answer questions. Robbie also takes action. But before we actually look at the action Robbie takes, I really want you to take this in. What you are seeing is humans and agents collaborating in a Slack channel. Have you seen that before? I can answer that for you. No, because no other platforms do this. Our competitors, they're not like us. They don't do this. So this is pretty awesome. So now let's actually look at the reorder process that was kicked off. So in here, the buyer, when they want to look at the full reorder process, they simply don't have to leave Slack. They can stay right there thanks to Salesforce channels. Now, channels have always been the core of Slack. But now, with Salesforce channels, you can bring the goodness of your CRM data right there in Slack, all the insights, right into your flow of work, right into your flow of conversations. That is incredible. Now let's switch gears and look at how Saks marketing team uses Agentforce with Tableau. So here we have this beautiful dashboard, but what I want to bring your attention to is the upper left-hand corner viz. Here it shows how many Agentforce customer conversations have had. So that's a great number, and it's going up. What would be really insightful to know? What are they talking about? What are our customers saying? I can't get that from that number, but here's the challenge. That is unstructured data, just like your Slack messages, just like your emails, just like notes. So it would take like a human and a data marketer and all these folks hours and days and weeks to glean through all that data to find out the keywords and what are they talking about. But not for Agentforce. With Agentforce, the marketer can simply ask, why are these conversations on the rise? And what are they actually talking about? And Agentforce responds in natural language with an insight around the keywords, and Agentforce shares a viz. Agentforce speaks viz too. It gives a lovely viz of all the keywords, and it prompts the marketer if they want to further break that information down. So we can break down this information and say, what are they talking about for seasonal collections? Then it comes back and Agentforce says, you know what? Folks really want to come into the store and get their hands on that seasonal collection. And Agentforce recommends adding an additional segment to an already existing campaign that's performing really well. We're going to create a new segment for that. Now, before we leave this, Rusha and Maximo, I want to stay here for a minute. I want to give the folks a minute to take in what we just saw. What we just saw, you were able to get an insight insight from that number and go all the way to action. Insight to action on one platform. That is the power of Tableau on Core. It now has access to all the metadata, all your custom and standard actions that you have in your org, whether it's existing flows or Apex or any of your prompts. All of that you can build and take action. I am telling you what I know. There are no other applications that can do this. So take it in. I'm gonna give you a minute to take it in. That's a lot. That's powerful. Let's go ahead and create a new segment. That's a flow that gets kicked off right there. So here we are, and it kicked off the flow. Agentforce kicked off the flow and came back with 37,000 folks for our in-store event. Probably don't have the capacity to handle that. So the marketer goes back to Agentforce and says, do you think you can, bring this down a little bit to be compliant with our store occupancy level? And Agentforce, because it has access to all the data, knows our top customers, knows the compliance, comes back with a more manageable number. Perfect. Now we have our campaign and we've got our segment created. So now let's check it out and see what it looks like from the website. So we're back on the website and Heather's over there and it's customized just for Heather as she shops on the mobile app. And Heather's been eyeing this bag on there. Well, Sophie is on there. Remember Sophie, Agentforce? They're ready to answer any question Heather may have because Sophie has the full context of who Heather is. And Sophie invites Heather to the in-store event because she said, you know what, you can get that bag in the in-store, right? She was like, yeah, let's get the bag. So we can go into the in-store event and get the bag. And, Heather starts to get really excited about getting the bag and starts to ask about styling questions. Now, you all heard Patrick talk about building agents, and we put up guardrails. Guardrails are what they can and cannot do. Well, Sophie cannot do styling. That's not her job. So when Sophie gets questions about styling, she's instructed to pass over to a human. And in this case, that's the SACS advisor. And that's exactly what Sophie's gonna do. But before they do, I know what you're thinking, because I can read your mind, I know what you're thinking. Oh my goodness, Heather's gonna have to repeat all the information that she shared with the agent. Or, you all been there, you've called, you put in your account number, you finally get to a human and they're like, can I have your account number? You're like, did I not just punch that in? Well, guess what? Not with Salesforce. Because when the advisor comes into this screen here, they have all the information about Heather, all her past purchases, all the full conversations that she's had with the agent, and the Agentforce even summarizes the conversation for the advisor. So now what you're seeing is the advisor and Agentforce working together to answer all of Heather's styling questions. Well, Heather is super jacked, ready to come into the store for that in-store event. Now, let's stop, fast forward into the future, and it's the day of the in-store event. Now, we want to make sure that the digital experience and the physical experience are seamless for Heather. And thanks to the power of Retail Cloud, we can do just that. Now, Agentforce is providing details and all this information on Heather's unified profile on the clienteling app that the in-store advisor is using to get prepped on Heather so they can be prepared for her arrival. So now when Heather comes into the store for the event, she can receive that white glove treatment, a treatment that's very demure, very mindful, right? So she's in here shopping and really enjoying this. Now also, she's gonna get the bag, she may get some additional items, and Agentforce can also process in-store transactions as well as print receipts. Now, what you're seeing is Agentforce is the constant thread from beginning to end so we can get Heather to come back again. And that, my friends, is how SACS drives customer success with Agentforce across their Customer 360. Back to you, Mark. I'm going to do some shopping.